got a big one Saturday night in Baton Rouge. Number 9 Ole Miss at number 13 LSU. That kicks at 7:30 Eastern on ABC and ESPN+. Let's put some numbers on this. It's the first time Ole Miss and LSU will meet with both teams in the top 15 since '03, when Nick Saban and number 3 LSU beat Eli Manning and number 15 Ole Miss 17-14. It's been a while. If it's anything like last year's game, expect a lot of points. Jackson Dart and Ole Miss won a track meet over Jaden Daniels and LSU last year, 55-49, the 104 combined points, the most in series history. But Saturday's matchup is at Tiger Stadium, where LSU has won 13 straight, the third longest active win streak at home in the FBS. Under Brian Kelly, LSU 12-0 in night games at Tiger Stadium. And we are joined by the LSU coach. Now, Brian, I guess twice is a coincidence, 3 times is a pattern. 12 in a row is something else entirely. Describe to us what it's like Saturday nights in the fall in Death Valley.
Well, it's an electric atmosphere. It's one of the greatest home field atmospheres in all of college football. Tiger Stadium, celebrating 100 years of Tiger Stadium. It's what college football should be like. Just an incredible atmosphere, and the cathedral of college football. And we're bringing in a great football team. Lane Kiffin's Mississippi Ole Miss team is outstanding, and it should make up for just a great night of football. Yeah,
they are good. They're ranked higher than you, and they also are 3-point favorites. How does that sit with your guys at home on a Saturday night?
Well, look, the work's ahead of us. You know, we've got to play 7 SEC games. So each and every week we know the battle that's in front of us. And quite frankly, you know, we haven't done anything yet. We're 1-0 in the SEC, and we had to come from 17 points down. So, you know, we've got plenty of time to earn our respect. And it'll have to start this Saturday against a great Ole Miss football team.
I know it's kind of relatively early in the season, but if you had to say what's on the line in this game for your team, what would it be?
Well, just continue to get better. I mean, we've gotten considerably better since the start of the season. Obviously, the opening loss, 27-20 to USC, was a disappointing loss, but we've gotten better. And this is about really our football team playing their best when the best is needed. And it's going to be needed against this football team. So I'm really looking, look, the outcomes are certainly important. Our fan base wants to win championships. We want to win championships. I need this football team to play the right way, play for 4 quarters, get off to a great start, and play consistent complementary football for 4 quarters. That's what really I'm looking for.
Do you have a feel for your team at this point in the year? Do you just sense their identity, who they are?
Well, we know this, right? We were on the road in an SEC battle down 17 points, and they fought their tails off to come back and win that football game. And then they learned from some of their mistakes in that game and played a much better game against a South Alabama team. So we know what this football team's made of. They've got grit. They've got some resilience. Now they've got to play mistake-free for 4 quarters. And that's the next step in the identity that this football team needs, because we know we've got toughness. But look, you can't do that week in and week out in the SEC and expect to survive.
And now you're facing an Ole Miss offense, which is hard to slow down in a couple ways. They score a lot of points. And as you well know, they like to play fast, Brian. They are up-tempo. So what challenges does that offense present to your guys?
Well, you got to get them off schedule. First of all, you got to tackle them in space. And it starts with first down. You've got to win on first down, because if you're giving up chunks of yardage on first down, they control the tempo, they control the pace of play, and they put you in a very difficult situation because you're on your heels. We've got to get our cleats in the ground. We've got to do a great job of tackling in space, which we did not do last year. And then obviously, you know, put them behind the chains. They want to do the same to us. And they've got an outstanding defense. They've got a lot of really good players. And it starts with us on first down, and tackling in space is going to be at a premium on Saturday night.
Well, how have you emphasized that this week in practice? You doing a lot of physical work?
You have to. I mean, we had the off week last week where we practiced hard for 3 days. You know, we didn't use it as a traditional bye week. We got after it pretty good. There's been a lot of physicality over the last couple of weeks. Now we've got to be able to, go from preparation to performance. Performance is, again, being your best when your best is needed. So our guys understand what's at stake. They're playing in Tiger Stadium, and they've got to play to a high standard, a standard that's been set. You saw the clips of Nick Saban and all those other great teams that have come before us. Our guys have got to play up to that standard.
Ole Miss is second in the nation in total yards, and their quarterback, Jackson Dart, is second in the nation in passing yards. When you look at Dart as a quarterback, what do you see?
I love his toughness. I love his grittiness as a quarterback. I mean, he throws it well. He runs. When they need a big play, the ball's in his hands. He's going to try to do something with it, whether he throws it or runs it. I love his toughness. I just think, the quarterbacks that are leading these teams are at the center of the action, and they want the ball in their hands. This is a guy that wants the ball in his hands when the game's on the line, and you love that kind of attitude from your quarterback.
Hey, Brian, as it just so happens, we're going to be talking to Jackson Dart later on SportsCenter. Anything you want me to pass along to him about how you're scheming to stop him on Saturday?
Yeah, tell him we play Sunday at 4 o'clock, and maybe he shows up a little bit late.
Last year, I'm just curious how it was from a coach's perspective. We love all the points, 55, 49, crazy numbers. What is that like when you're on the sidelines and teams are running back and forth, both your guys and their guys?
It's not a good feeling. It's not a good feeling. I mean, I don't know what Lane's feelings were, but look, at the end of the day, I mean, you still have to play championship level defense at some point, and you can't just rely on your offense. We had Jaden Daniels, Malik Neighbors, Brian Thomas. Obviously, they were great players for us, but you have to play some type of defense that allows you a chance to win that game. And look, there were big changes. I unfortunately had to make changes to my entire defensive staff. Lane made changes to entire defensive players. And so there were big changes on both sides of the ball after that, prolific offensive experience. And again, it's not a great feeling.
We've talked a little bit about Lane Kiffin here. You stared across the sideline at him. I read a headline the other day that said that you said Lane Kiffin is good for college coach, good for the college game. How so?
Well, he relates well, on the social media platforms. He doesn't take himself too serious. I think he's a student of the game. I mean, he's coached in the NFL. He's coached at the lower levels. He's worked his way back up into into the SEC. He's humble. He recruits. Look, in all phases of it, he's seen it, and I just like guys that have had to work their way back through it. I started as a Division II head coach and worked my way up. Lane has had to do it in a similar fashion, and for me, when you're in this business as long as I've been in it. I've seen a lot of guys come and go, but Lane is in it because he loves the kids and he loves the game.
You mentioned his social media following. How do your numbers stack up to Lane Kiffin's numbers?
I don't think I have a blue check mark. I know he does.
Right. Hey, Brian, I know you got a lot of recruiting calls to make. You're burning the midnight oil. We appreciate you spending some time with us. Best of luck on Saturday night.
Always good to be with you guys. Thanks, David. Appreciate you.